Have you ever heard of a homeless man who saved a local cafe from going under? This heartwarming story will leave you inspired and amazed. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee, roasted nuts, and warm pastries was the lifeblood of the daily grind. A quaint cafe nestled on the corner of Elm Street in the heart of Willow Creek, a town where everyone knew everyone. Sunlight streamed through its large windows, illuminating mismatched antique furniture and shelves overflowing with well-loved books. It wasn't just a place to grab a morning latte. It was the town's unofficial living room, a hub for gossip, laughter, and quiet contemplation. Regulars like Mrs. Henderson, who always ordered a decaf black coffee and read the newspaper cover to cover, and young, aspiring artist Leo, sketching furiously over an iced mocha, were as much a part of the cafe's charm as its artisanal scones. Sarah, the cafe's owner, poured her heart and soul into the daily grind. Her warm smile and genuine interest in her customers' lives made the cafe a beloved institution. She had inherited the business from her grandmother, and every chipped mug and worn-out cushion held a story, a memory of generations past. Sleeping on a worn-out sleeping bag, usually tucked away in the alcove beside the cafe's back entrance, was Arthur. He was a silent fixture of Willow Creek, a man whose face was etched with the harsh realities of life on the streets. His clothes were threadbare, and his hair, once likely a vibrant brown, was now a tangled mess of gray. Most people, if they noticed him at all, offered a fleeting glance of pity or, more often, an averted gaze. Sarah, busy with the daily grind of running her cafe, saw Arthur as another unfortunate soul, a stark reminder of the struggles outside her cozy haven. She would occasionally leave out a half-eaten pastry or a cup of lukewarm coffee, a small, anonymous gesture of charity. She meant well, but she didn't truly see him, not beyond the label of homeless man. The cafe, once a symbol of stability, was starting to feel the pinch. Rising ingredient costs, increasing rent, and a subtle shift in customer habits were slowly eroding its once healthy profits. Sarah often found herself staring at the ledger, a knot of anxiety tightening in her stomach. The comforting hum of the espresso machine now seemed to carry an undercurrent of worry. The chill of an early autumn evening had settled over Willow Creek. Sarah was working late, meticulously cleaning the espresso machine, the only sound the rhythmic whirring of the cooling system. She had sent her only employee, a college student named Chloe, home an hour earlier, wanting to save on wages. The streetlights outside cast long dancing shadows through the cafe windows. Suddenly a jarring clang from the back of the cafe sliced through the quiet. Sarah froze, her heart leaping into her throat. It sounded like metal on metal, followed by a muffled thud. Fear, cold and sharp, gripped her. Her mind raced, conjuring images of vandals, or worse, a break-in. She clutched a heavy porcelain mug, her knuckles white. She crept silently towards the back, her breath catching in her throat. As she neared the storage room, she heard hushed voices, rough and aggressive. Peeking around the doorframe, her blood ran cold. Two figures, their faces obscured by ski masks, were ransacking the small office, tossing files and tearing open drawers. One held a crowbar, glinting menacingly under the dim security light. Panic threatened to overwhelm her, but then she saw it, a glint of steel aimed at the wall safe, the one containing the week's earnings, enough to keep the cafe afloat for another few weeks. If they got that, the daily grind was doomed. Just as one of the masked figures raised the crowbar, a shadow detached itself from the darkness outside the back door. It was Arthur, He had been awakened by the noise, the faint sounds of the intrusion, reaching him even through the thick walls. He hadn't hesitated. He knew the cafe, knew Sarah, knew the rhythm of their lives. He had seen the shadows of worry on her face, felt the quiet desperation radiating from the place that, in its own way, had offered him small mercies. Without a sound, Arthur slipped inside, moving with a surprising agility for a man his age. He grabbed a discarded metal trash can, its bottom heavy with old coffee grounds, and swung it with surprising force, catching one of the intruders off guard. The clang reverberated through the small space, startling the other burglar. "Hey!" the second one yelled, turning to face Arthur, who stood defiantly an unlikely guardian. The first intruder, stunned, dropped the crowbar. Arthur, without a moment's hesitation, lunged for it. A struggle ensued, a frantic, desperate dance in the dimly lit room. The second burglar, recovering from the initial shock, grabbed a sturdy broom handle and swung it wildly at Arthur. Sarah watched, paralyzed with fear and a burgeoning sense of awe. This man, whom she had barely acknowledged, was fighting for her business, for her livelihood, for the very heart of Willow Creek. The fight was brutal, uneven. Arthur, though fueled by an adrenaline-laced courage, was clearly outmatched in strength and numbers. He took a heavy blow to his side, grunting, in pain but refusing to yield. He managed to disarm the second burglar, sending the broom handle clattering. Just as the first burglar, now armed with a large wrench, raised it to strike Arthur down, Sarah, snapping out of her terrified stupor, let out a piercing scream. The unexpected sound, amplified by the confined space, startled the assailants. Their attention momentarily shifted from Arthur to Sarah. It was just enough. Arthur, seizing the opportunity, tackled the wrench-wielding burglar, sending both men crashing through the back door and onto the alley pavement. The sounds of distant sirens, growing steadily louder, began to cut through the night. The burglars, realizing their time was up, scrambled to their feet and fled into the darkness, disappearing before the police cruisers even turned onto Elm Street. Arthur lay on the cold pavement, bruised and battered, but triumphant. He had saved the daily grind. When the police arrived, flashing lights painting the cafe's facade in stark blues and reds, Sarah was beside herself. She knelt beside Arthur, tears streaming down her face, a mixture of relief, guilt, and profound gratitude washing over her. "Arthur," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion, "you saved everything. You saved my cafe." He simply nodded, wincing as she helped him sit up. The police, after taking their statements, were incredulous. A homeless man fighting off armed burglars? It was a story almost too unbelievable to be true. But the broken back door, the scattered files, and Sarah's fervent testimony confirmed it. The next morning, the news spread through Willow Creek like wildfire. Mrs. Henderson, who always arrived for her decaf at precisely 7 a.m., heard it from a breathless Chloe, who had arrived early, buzzing with the details. Leo, sketching in his usual corner, overheard snippets from the early risers. By mid-morning, the daily grind was abuzz, not just with the usual chatter, but with whispers and exclamations about Arthur. Customers, initially shocked, quickly shifted from disbelief to admiration. "Can you believe it?" they'd exclaimed. "That quiet man, Arthur, a hero." Sarah, her eyes still red from lack of sleep and tears, walked around the cafe, her heart swelling with an emotion she couldn't quite name. She had always prided herself on seeing the best in people, but she realized with a jolt that she had failed Arthur. She had seen his circumstances, but not his character. She had offered charity, but not true recognition. That day, she started actively telling everyone who came in about Arthur's bravery, not just the bare facts, but the raw courage, the selfless act. She put up a small sign near the counter. "Our cafe, our hero. Thank you, Arthur." The community's perception of Arthur underwent a seismic shift. The averted gazes turned into knowing smiles, the pity into respect. People started bringing him hot meals, warm blankets, and clean clothes. Kids, who once whispered about the homeless man, now looked at him with wide-eyed wonder, seeing a real-life superhero. Old Mr. Abernathy, a gruff retired carpenter even, offered to fix the cafe's broken door, refusing payment. "It's the least I can do for a man who did so much for our town," he mumbled, his eyes shining with uncharacteristic emotion. Arthur, overwhelmed by the sudden outpouring of kindness, was initially uncomfortable with the attention. He was a man of few words, accustomed to invisibility. But as the days turned into weeks, a flicker of warmth started to ignite in his eyes. He began to nod in acknowledgement, sometimes even offering a small, shy smile. The cafe, once struggling, began to thrive. People came, not just for the coffee, but to be part of the story, to show their support, to witness the transformation that had taken place. Sarah, with the help of a few loyal customers, even started a small fund for Arthur, initially for his immediate needs, but quickly growing into something more substantial, a step towards a new beginning. The daily grind wasn't just saved, it was reborn, a beacon of hope, a testament to the unexpected heroism found in the most overlooked places. The story of Arthur and the daily grind spread far beyond Willow Creek. Local news channels picked it up, then regional, and soon national outlets were calling Sarah for interviews. The narrative resonated deeply with people across the country. A simple act of courage, a community united, and the inspiring revelation that kindness can come from anywhere. But beyond the immediate thrill of the headlines, the incident sparked a deeper conversation in Willow Creek and beyond about homelessness and the true meaning of community. The daily grind became a symbol, not just of a saved business, but of a shifted perspective. People started to look at the homeless population in their own towns with new eyes, questioning their preconceived notions. They began to understand that every individual, regardless of their circumstances, has inherent value, a story, and the potential for profound impact. The idea that someone often overlooked could be a hero challenged deeply ingrained societal biases. It highlighted the uncomfortable truth that often we judge people based on their external appearance or their perceived status, rather than their character or their capacity for good. The incident at the daily grind underscored the vital importance of human kindness. It was a powerful reminder that compassion isn't just about grand gestures, but about everyday empathy. It's about seeing beyond the labels and recognizing the shared humanity in everyone. It's about understanding that a simple act of kindness, a warm meal, a genuine smile, or even just acknowledging someone's presence can have a ripple effect. It can restore dignity, offer hope, and sometimes even save a life, or in this case, a beloved local cafe. To foster compassion and understanding within our communities, the story of Arthur offered tangible lessons. It taught us to challenge our assumptions. We often make snap judgments about people without knowing their stories or the struggles they face. It encouraged active listening and engagement, Instead of averting our gaze, it urged us to look people in the eye, to offer a kind word, to ask if someone needs help, and truly listen to the answer. It emphasized the power of collective action. While Arthur's act was individual, the community's response, the outpouring of support for him, the renewed patronage of the café, showed what can be achieved when people come together with a shared purpose of compassion. Willow Creek, inspired by Arthur, started several initiatives. A community garden where homeless individuals could volunteer and earn meals. A clothing drive that provided not just warmth, but dignity, and a mentorship program to help those struggling to find their footing. The cafe even started a Pay It Forward board, where customers could prepay for a coffee or meal for someone who couldn't afford it, a tangible way to extend the chain of kindness. The tale of Arthur, the homeless man who saved the daily grind, is more than just a heartwarming anecdote. It's a powerful narrative that continues to resonate, a testament to the extraordinary kindness found in unexpected places. It began with a beloved cafe on the brink of collapse and a man living on its periphery, seemingly disconnected from its fate. But in a moment of desperate need, the lines blurred and a silent guardian emerged, proving that heroism knows no address, no social status. Arthur's selfless act not only saved Sarah's business, but also irrevocably transformed a community, forcing them to confront their prejudices and embrace a deeper sense of empathy and connection. His story reminds us that hope is not just a passive feeling, but an active force, often ignited by a single act of compassion. It demonstrates that the potential for positive change lies within each of us, waiting to be unleashed. It's a call to action, a gentle nudge to look beyond the surface, to extend a hand, to offer a smile, to truly see the people around us, especially those who often feel invisible. We are all interconnected, and every act of kindness, no matter how small, sends ripples through the fabric of our society, creating a more compassionate and understanding world. So, let this story inspire you. Be kind, be compassionate, and remember that heroism can emerge from anywhere. Have you ever done something kind for someone less fortunate, or witnessed an act of kindness that left a lasting impact on you? Share your stories in the comments below. Your experiences, big or small, can inspire others and continue the chain of positive change. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories and insights. Comment with your thoughts and experiences, and share this story with anyone who needs a dose of hope and kindness.